What happens when you hold the world's largest gun show in the same city where we just had the worst mass shooting in modern American history? To find out, Now This went to Las Vegas on a mission that introduced us to the shady world of parking lot gun deals.
I have cash, he's got a gun, and that's it.
Extreme views.
You have no rights when they take the guns away. They can take you to your concentration camps and gas you.
And heart-rending tales of survival.
They said, "Are you okay?" Because I was covered head to toe in blood.
Just months after a Las Vegas gunman shot nearly 500 people, killing 58, you might think that the organizers of SHOT Show would rethink their venue. But a sensitivity to tragic irony is not a defining characteristic of the National Sports Shooting Foundation, a gun lobbying group that is based in, I'm not making this up, Newtown, Connecticut. Now in its 40th year, SHOT Show is the world's largest gun industry expo. Media attendance is by invitation only, and while Now This's invitation must have gotten lost in the mail, we couldn't resist coming to check it out. I'm joined by activist Igor Volsky. Let's see what people at SHOT Show are thinking.
Let's do it. Hey sir, do you have a sec to talk to Now This?
Oh, no, thank you, sir.
Oh, you should check us out. We're very entertaining.
I'll talk to you tomorrow if you do something.
All right, well, he wants to do some vetting. It's good. So we've already seen that at least one person attending here is interested in background checks.
You know, some people have questioned the logic of having the SHOT Show here just 3 months after the big shooting that happened here in Vegas. Is that something you're concerned about?
I mean, things like that can happen anywhere.
It's taking place in Las Vegas very shortly after a terrible gun disaster. What are your thoughts on that?
Nothing really, so.
What the government are trying to do is they're trying to get after us, you know, the legit people who's got permit and stuff, and they want to try to make the gun laws even harder.
More than 64,000 gun industry professionals attended this year's SHOT Show, traveling from all over the world.
We flew in all the way from Sweden.
You flew in from Sweden?
Yes, sir.
Are you an American expat living in Sweden, or are you Swedish?
No, I'm Swedish, sir. The gun laws back home in Sweden are FUBAR. First of all, you cannot have a record. I have to show that I am eligible. And back home in Sweden, your permit is only valid for 5 years. After 5 years, you have to do the test again.
So, to review, you have to have a totally clean record. There are background checks to find out.
Yes, sir.
And you need to regularly check to make sure that you're still capable of using the firearm.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And that, you think, that's going too far?
It is.
But SHOT Show attendees weren't the only ones to show up.
When you found out after the tragedy here that the SHOT Show was still gonna have their show here, how'd you feel about that?
As awful as it sounds, it wasn't surprising because this is a multi-billion-dollar industry that has to sell guns if it's going to exist as an industry, and they've taken a consistent approach of saying their money and their profits are more important than the lives of the people who suffer from the industry.
And you're protesting what? You know, they did that. What you're talking about, they did that in Germany. They did that in China. They did that in a lot of countries. Those people have no guns now. Look at all the Jews who got killed in Germany because Hitler took the guns away. And this is one more step.
While there were sharp divisions between the people attending SHOT Show and the people protesting it, we found more common ground than we were expecting.
You have to have a license to buy a gun, but you can go to a flea market and buy a gun and don't even show your driver's license. So somebody's got their head up their ass.
I think there should be a little bit more regulation. One more check, you know?
They may not agree with me, and I may not agree with them, but there is a middle ground.
Nobody is saying we're taking your guns. We're saying we don't want them to fall into the wrong hands, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants that. Nobody wants idiots having guns that are going to kill people.
Okay, we got some interesting answers from people attending SHOT Show. After repeated attempts to contact the organizers of SHOT Show, they have declined our interview. So what we want to find out now is it easier to actually buy a gun than it is to get an answer from the organizers of SHOT Show? So
I bet it is.
Let's go find out. Back at our hotel, Igor showed me how easy it is in many states to buy a gun with no background check, using the private sale loophole.
If you're gonna go to like a regular store, they have to run an instant background check on you. But here, with no background check, you can purchase a firearm. Oh, here's an AR-15.
Well, look at this, brand new bump stock. We reached out to a couple of people selling rifles and handguns. Oh, hold on. I've already gotten a message. So within
15 minutes.
Roughly 15 minutes, we have someone who could sell us a gun.
I think it would take me longer to leave this room, go to Starbucks, get in line, buy a coffee, than it did for us just to find a gun seller. There are rules he has to follow. He's not able to sell this gun to an out-of-state purchaser.
Which is a problem for us.
Which is a problem.
Maybe we can have the good fortune of finding somebody who is local who can go in. A member of the local film crew was happy to help, but he didn't think someone would actually sell him a gun without knowing anything about him.
I would never go and sell my gun to somebody just out of nowhere without knowing who they are or doing a background check on them.
He was also skeptical about gun laws and voted against a proposition to expand background checks in Nevada.
The criminals don't care what the gun laws are. I just don't think it's possible in this country to really change it.
As it turned out, Alex had a personal reason for opposing gun restrictions.
Something did happen to me in my life. My mother was robbed and murdered in Summerlin in the daytime, out of nowhere. My mom was just out jogging. She didn't carry a gun. Maybe if she had one, she could still be here, you know?
Yeah.
His doubts aside, Alex went out to meet a stranger with a gun.
I'm on my way to just a random parking lot. I'm a little nervous. I haven't even talked to the guy. It was all text messages. You know, he doesn't know who I am. We don't even know each other's names yet. And yeah, apparently it's just gonna be a deal where I have cash, he's got a gun, and that's it. I'm gonna see if I can find him. Oh, I think that's him over there. All right, here we go. That's it. And that process took less than 5 minutes. And I've got what I assume is a working gun. Seems like it to me. He did do a bill of sale with his information. He had a copy that I put my information down. But that's it. I could have had a fake ID and put whatever I want down here, and I could have walked away with a gun. I'll be honest with you, that's not the... Doesn't really sit well with me, to be honest with you.
All right, Alex, let's see what you got.
Okay. Yeah. That's it.
Okay. The whole process from looking for listings to the time that you'd gotten it was under 3 hours.
And the act of actually buying it from him took less than 5 minutes.
And he's not required to do a background check.
He didn't have to.
You seem surprised.
I'm very surprised that he would just give a gun to me. Granted, I'm wearing a collared shirt. I don't necessarily look like a criminal, but at the same time...
In fairness, a person with bad intent can put on a collared shirt.
No, exactly. At the very least, make it a little bit more difficult for someone to get their hands on a firearm and have a background check. And again, I'm a gun owner, and I'm not saying we should take guns away from people. I mean, it's very eye-opening. I'm pretty embarrassed of myself that I voted the other way, because this needs to be changed. You should not be able to get a gun that easily.
I think the only thing to do next is for you to demonstrate how it should be used. So, as we expected, Alex was a fantastic shot. Igor was also a really good shot. I didn't do so well. In my defense, I did a lot better when I shot a target that looked like this. Scary clowns better not mess with me. Alex took the gun to a police station where it will be destroyed, leaving one less gun on the streets of America. But before Igor and I left Las Vegas, we wanted to talk to some survivors from the shooting. We met up with Heather Goose and Christine Carria.
I was working at the Route 91 Music Festival as a bartender.
I attended the Route 91 Music Festival, attending as a vendor.
Super excited to get the job.
It was cool, you know?
That was my bar. We were right underneath there.
We were wrapping up, it was the third day.
Everything is going as normal.
All of a sudden, I heard 3 pops.
It kind of sounded like feedback.
And then I looked around, and then, like everyone has said, fireworks. I saw someone get shot and people dropping.
There was hundreds running into the bar. They're screaming, shooter, shooter.
We have an active shooter. We have an active shooter inside the fairground.
You didn't know where to run because it sounded like it was coming from everywhere.
And so I stood at the back door and I was pushing people out the door.
I either fell, was tripped, something happened, but that was when I started getting trampled.
It was like being in the middle of a war zone.
I started running towards Gate 5 to get out.
This is Gate 5. This is the gate that saved a lot of people's lives.
I saw people while I was running out get shot behind me, behind me, in front of me.
Somebody yelled for me, get over here, grab his head, grab his head. We don't know anything about him except that his name is Chris. He's been shot in the back of his head. Hold this jacket on the back of his head. And as we were carrying him, the jeans jacket fell and I literally had my finger in the bullet hole in the back of his head. This is not something that a 40-something bartender has ever been trained to do. I did later find out he was kept alive on life support until the next day when they could bring his mother in. His name was Chris Hazencombe. He was one of our angels. He never woke up, so his mom was able to say goodbye. She came in from California, but we did lose him.
I have children and I live in a world that I have to raise them in, and I have to feel some sense of safety, which I don't feel, and I don't know how I ever will.
Every day, I see it like it was yesterday. Every Sunday is an anniversary. There's never gonna be a first of the month that isn't a reminder.
Christine and Heather have channeled their pain into activism.
When someone shoots at you with a machine gun, basically, for 12 minutes, and you see people's heads getting blown off in front of you, you get involved.
I spoke in front of the Senate floor.
You are one strong woman, and I am just so proud of you.
How do you feel about the fact that the SHOT Show is here in town just, a little more than 3 months after the incident?
The problem with that show and with the organization that's putting it on is that they're not backing up the background checks and the loopholes.
I would love to see the gun industry stand behind us. Why not work together and try to save as many lives as you can?
There should be never, ever, ever, ever a gun sale made without a background check.
In states that have expanded background checks, there is 47% less murders and injuries.
I'm an American and I believe in the right to bear arms, but not arsenals.
I myself am very pro-gun. I like knowing how to shoot. But do I think that it should be just a little bit harder for people to get a hold of these weapons? Absolutely. Bad stuff is going to happen. But if we can protect or save even one person, then we have to do it.
I am really struck by the common ground that we found.
Yeah.
Obviously, the people at SHOT Show and the people at the Brady campaign and the people at Guns Down are not going to agree on everything.
That's
but
right.
I feel like there is so much that we do agree on, and that gives me hope for the future.
Yeah, there's definitely hope. With a little bit of education, with conversation, we can solve this problem.
I think we can.